Marhaba, and welcome to the Matrix Green Pill, where real people connect.
Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm your host, Hilmarie Hutchison, and today get ready to dive into the future of computing with our special guest, Roman Axelrod. As the founder of XPANCEO, Roman is revolutionizing human technology interaction with his groundbreaking smart contact lens technology. With a track record of success in computer vision, esports, and fintech, Roman's expertise has left an indelible mark on the global tech landscape. Join us as we explore his journey, insights, and exciting possibilities. Let's jump right in. Roman, welcome and thank you for joining me today.
Hi, Hilmarie. Thanks for having me.
Very welcome. So to start off, could you please tell our audience a little bit about you, yourself, and your background?
Hey, everyone. So, my name is Roman. I'm 33 years old, and I spent 10 years building and scaling technology companies, either as a top manager or as a co-founder. I have 3 successful exits under the belt. For the past 2.5 years, I am on a new, very exciting path of creating the next generation of computing. For the last, probably 3 to 5 years, I've been living with a feeling of, being surrounded by inconvenient, obsolete, outdated computers. We all understand that we are enslaved by gadgets. I mean, personally, I need at least 4 gadgets just to survive one day. My laptop, my tablet, smartphone, smartwatches, probably gaming console. It's 5. I've been living with the idea that there has to be a way to merge all those gadgets into one and to use one gadget instead of many. That's how I came up with the idea of one infinite screen that will merge all your gadgets into one, invisible, weightless. As we joke, best device is no device. Basically, I am on a new path to create such a gadget.
Sounds exciting, super interesting. Wow. Let's just go a little bit back though. How did you get into this field? Because as I mentioned in the introduction, you've been into computers and esports and fintech. How did you get into the digital or computing landscape?
I would say that's the same field. I am a non-technical co-founder in a deep tech company. My job is and was always to provide the idea of what are we actually going to do? How are we going to revolutionize the world? How are we going to make the world a better place? And last but not the least, probably make some money. And to provide team with all the resources necessary and energy required to reach such a target. My job was always the same, whether it be a fintech company or an esports company, and that is correct, that is true. As I was probably 22 or 23 years old, I decided that I want to contribute to overall, tech community, IT community, I would say. I joined a company that was into developing machine learning algorithms for self-driving cars. Back in 2012 to 2014, that wasn't so obvious as it is now. 10 years ago, it was considered as a true deep tech. 10 years ago, no one couldn't even believe that there are guys out there developing something like that. That was actually very sane. It took me 3 years to build a company and to sell a company. That experience, as they say in soccer, I made a hat trick. So basically, I helped building and selling 3 companies. By that time, I started thinking, okay, do you want to spend your life like that? Do you want to keep creating and selling companies? That's actually not a bad way to contribute to society and to earn certain amount of cash. Basically, this might be considered as trying to put your whole personal life into a 3 to 5 years old cycle. I decided that I just want to make something more profound, something more meaningful for overall humanity, something more meaningful for myself. by that time, I was charmed with this idea of next generation of computing. Let's face it, humanity has set itself a few targets for the 21st century: becoming interplanetary species, radically enhance quality of life and lifespan. At least these two cannot be accomplished with the current generation of computers. And I really do believe that humanity needs next generations of computing in order to merge with humans and to provide us with something more capable and powerful than we are now.
I love how big you are thinking. You said earlier on your idea was to revolutionize the world, to make a contribution, and you had these visions, which I absolutely love. What was the moment that you realized that integrating computing into a smart contact lens was not just possible, but could be the future of personal technology?
I prefer to think about the future of personal technology as a certain amount of waves of technology. Historically, we had new generation of computers each 10 to 15 years. Smartphones, which are of course the main computer of humanity right now, are with us, at least from the beginning of the century, from at least from 2007, 2006, I'm sorry, where iPhone 1 was introduced. But first smartphones appeared in early 90s, in 1992, 1993. Of course, we do understand that, and I think everyone has already finally agreed that the next generation of computing is spatial. So think about it as a computer of the Iron Man, as a computer of Tony Stark. Bang, 3D spatial ecosystem of software and apps appears around you. You operate it by eyes, by voice, by gesture. And to be frank, that is not so important which interface you use in order to operate such a system, be it helmet, glasses, or a contact lens. Think of it as an ecosystem of software and apps which you use in 3D space, which is seamlessly integrated into your surroundings. I hope that is our future for the next 10 to 20 years. After that, well, of course, I know I'm going to sound Elon Muskish here, but after that, we will get neural interfaces, of course. As of today, I'm not quite sure that humanity is ready yet. To be honest, I'm not, by now at least, I'm not ready to let even the best doctor in the world integrate a chip into my head. I won't be considered as a geek or the adopter of gadgets. Probably there will be a day when I will be ready to do so, but not yet.
What have been the biggest challenges that you have faced in creating this kind of groundbreaking technology?
That is a great question, which is very easy to answer. Think of this generation of technology, spatial gadgets, helmets, glasses, etc., like Quest 3, Vision 1, X Real, and Real. Many gadgets by now, considering that the market hasn't even started yet. There are already tons of gadgets out there. They have a few things in common. They're all ugly. They're all not interchangeable. I don't think there are many people out there who will be ready to wear them outside, who will be ready to sit at the restaurant or to drive a car wearing those gadgets and using those gadgets. Basically, we need something that will be as natural for humans as glasses or smartphones. Didn't you ever think about why smartphone or especially a tablet is so biologically understandable for humans? Because we've been brought up with this interface as species. It's a book. It's just a flat screen. We used books for centuries, literally for centuries. And then a few geniuses replaced books with e-books, electronic books, but the interface remained the same. Now we need an interface that will be comfortable, beautiful, easy to use, etc. I'm sure many of you remember that feeling when you first saw the flat screen phone, be it iPhone or Android or whatever. It felt like a miracle. It felt like a decision to, well, half of your life problems. We XPANCEO. we believe that contact lens might become one of the interfaces for such a spatial computer. So you will use your contact lens while working out or walking or driving a bike. At home, you will have different interface, more big or powerful. At flying in space, you will have your third interface, etc., etc. Getting back to your question, what was the main challenge? The main challenge in this whole concept of spatial computing is to make this interface small enough. Haven't you thought, why are those gadgets, why are they so bulky? Why are they so big? The thing is that current generation of technology, silicon era technology, silicon based computers using lithium batteries, they're just too big. Just think about Apple Vision Pro. They need a separate battery that you wear on your belt because in case you place this battery directly onto the gadget, it will be heavy as hell. So the main thing is to miniaturize electronics and components of gadgets and to find a way to provide enough power. We XPANCEO, we decided to skip whole cycle of technology of the 20th century. We do not create gadgets and components based on silicon. We decided to use two-dimensional materials. You have probably heard of two Russian scientists, Game and Novoshelov, who received the Nobel Prize 13 years ago for discovery of properties of two-dimensional materials. The hype word is graphene. Basically, those materials are atom thin. I'm not joking. It's a one atom thin material, which is transparent, absolutely biocompatible, transmits electricity 3,000 times more quick than silicon. We decided to go from this one. We have gathered some of the brightest minds of modern physics, optics, and nanoelectronics under one roof to create new two-dimensional materials, to create components of gadgets using those materials. So far, we have been named as top 5 optics labs in the world by BCG. And we have been incredibly lucky to be within top 10 research institutions of any kind of research institutions in the UAE, according to Nature. We spent 2 years and a half developing those materials and of course writing many patents. And by now we have at least 3 stable prototypes, each showcasing different functions. So in case you're in Dubai, in case you're somewhere near Internet City, we are just on the opposite side of Google building and you're very welcome to drop me a message. I will be more than happy to show you our lab prototypes and so on and so on. Because I love to emphasize that everything I'm talking about is not future. We already do have a lab where you can see a prototype that works, actually works. So you take this lens into your hands, you look through it and you see a picture. That's pretty much what we have now.
That's incredible. What we used to see on the movies is now already reality. And what I'm hearing you saying, it's all about convenience. So it's requiring smaller gadgets, which required a whole new way, a whole new approach to designing those gadgets of the future so that they're not as ugly, not as clunky, but they can integrate into your life seamlessly and easily. You mentioned earlier about your 3 successful exits that you've already accomplished. Were there any lessons that you learned from those experiences that you are now applying to XPANCEO?
The main lesson I've learned, and I think it would work for anyone considering building a technology company, be it something very simple like food delivery or something very hard like deep tech, developing new materials, developing new gadgets, new drugs, new biotech things, etc. The main thing I've learned so far is that your job as a founder and actually as a person who invented the whole concept, who came up with the idea, who persuaded many good people to follow your dream, basically, persuaded many good financial people to vote for your idea with your money. We haven't mentioned by them so far, but we have already raised $40 million US for creation of this contact lens. you have to very clearly understand that you're in charge and that no one will solve your issues, will not. I'm sorry for being so plain, but no one will get your stuff together but you. To understand fully that all those people, all those beautiful people, they could have done anything with their lives, literally anything, but they decided to join you in following your dream. And that is why you have to be very grateful to them and you have to bear an amount responsibility which is much more higher than the amount of responsibility of of a hired CEO or a board director. You're basically the ones who took them from their lives and to this new path. So you're absolutely responsible for them. And that is 100% your responsibility. And in any case, anything bad happens with the company, you should always start with yourself. You should always seek reasons why something happened this way and not that way in yourself and not to blame others. Because by virtue of existence as a founder, you have unlimited responsibility for everything that happens within your company.
What I'm hearing you saying is that through your experiences also that the way we treat our staff, the people around us, the people who we work with is very important to almost have a sense of gratitude for them being there, as you say, investing their time as well to help you grow this business.
Absolutely. We have best engineers and best physicists, brightest minds of modern science under one roof. They could have chosen any path, follow academia, stay in academia, or work for Google or Apple or something else. That's not just about money. Money, yes, we do have, and we have put a lot, both myself and my co-founder, we have put substantial amount of effort in order to secure funding and to pay our people properly. We're talking here not about people who work for money. Money is a cherry on the top. Basically, they work because they believe in your idea. Hence, we have a second thing I wanted to touch very briefly. In, I would say, normal offline businesses, I don't know, metallurgical plant or a gas station or something else, you can take a position, I am the CEO, I said so, we're doing so. Here, and in case something goes wrong, I know that sounds harsh, but you always have the ability to change people. Here, you cannot do so, and you should not do so. The main obstacle preventing us from succeeding in this company, in XPANCEO, was lack of understanding between product management and physicists and engineers. Basically, I spent like a half a year persuading both sides to come to an agreement of what we're actually doing. Contact lens is a very broad concept. We have to agree that we're doing this component from these materials in these terms. We put this amount of effort, and in say 2-3 months, we'll have this on the table. We do not have any other option but to agree about that. Both myself and my co-founder, who is on the contrary, I spent 10 years in business. My co-founder spent 25 years in academia. He's a very, very, very well-known scientist. And we have put an enormous amount of effort in order to understand how the guys on the other side work, how they think, their way of thinking, because it's totally different. Anything that, product manager only cares about use case. Physicists and engineers only care about science and the overall curiosity of, what they're doing. At some point, there has to be someone that will persuade all sides to come to an agreement. And only through this deep agreement can a tech company proceed. You need to have a very deep and very sincere agreement within your key stakeholders, like engineering team, product management, sales team, founders and investors. They all have to very sincerely agree on the bottom of their hearts that they really do want to spend 3 to 5 years of their lives with these people doing this thing. In case you will not achieve this kind of agreement, your risks are very high in terms of people actually not doing anything or spending their days emailing each other, sending long emails and pretending to be working. And the last but not the least is that a proper corporate culture cannot be raised and cannot be established when there is no this deep heart commitment of key stakeholders.
Yes, that makes absolute sense. So to realize success, it is important that the whole team is on the same page so that they all understand the vision of the company, that everyone's working towards the same goal. And as you say, it is the responsibility of the founder to ensure that you get everybody on the same page.
Absolutely. Just know you are the only adult in the room. No matter how much accolades and successes are behind those who are near you, just take it. Just take the responsibility. Just know that you are the only adult in the room. And in case you will not do that, no one will.
No, as the visionary, as the founder, that's on you to take that lead. Sort of on the same line, for our listeners who might be aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators who's listening to this podcast, what advice would you give them about creating disruptive technologies and navigating the challenges that come with that?
What advice would I give to my fellow entrepreneurs trying to revolutionize the world where it listed sports? I have a friend who is same age. He's probably a few years older than I am, but he's relatively young and incredibly successful finance guy. Works in finance, and we've been close friends for like 15 years. And as you already know about myself, I spent biggest part of my professional life building technology companies. Well, he spent 10 to 15 years working in top tier investment banks and investment consulting firms. He was the very first person I pitched with this idea of a new computer or a new computing configuration or a generation of computing, in case you prefer. So he listened to me very carefully and then he answered that, Ramon, you're 30 back then, yes, you're 31 years old. You have a very good track record. Back then, I had a sort of very successful technology company approached me and asked me to become a CEO of the company. And that was a very, obvious way, I would say, for me to proceed. He told me, you have this record, you have this proposal on the table. Do you really speak about this dreams? Dude, don't be a child. That touched me and that hurt me deeply, to be honest. And still, I decided to proceed with my dream, with this idea of creation of next generation of computing. And as you can see today, we are definitely the most well-known deep tech company in the region and the best funded one, I would say. Our prototypes are at least 3 times better than our competitors have. In case you ask for advice, just think of the world your advisor lives in. Ask proper people for the advice. For the advice, those who can understand your idea. Don't wait that your friends working in finance will understand your crazy idea to create next computer. And don't be fragile and don't listen to anyone too much. Do not let business community and overall community influence your opinion.
I love that. I think that is excellent advice. Be careful who you listen to. Don't give up on your dreams, especially when maybe there's an easy alternative being offered because it's not going to get you where your dreams are. I think that's excellent advice. Now we have come to the time when we'll do our version of a game show. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions, Roman?
Please.
What is your favorite tech gadget of all time?
PlayStation 5.
Okay. Are you team iOS or Android?
I have both, literally.
So you don't have a preference?
I love foldable phones. That is why I have Android. And I adore the iOS system. That is why I have my iPhone.
If you could have dinner with any tech icon, living or dead, who would it be?
Of course, I do appreciate and I admire Mr. Jobs, Steve Jobs, for basically creating everything we love today, in almost everything we love today in the world of gadgets. But still, I would appreciate to meet his chief designer, Johnny Ive.
Excellent. If you weren't in the tech industry, what career path would you have pursued?
be a founder. I wouldn't like to change anything in my life. I really do love what I do.
That was easy enough. Thank you for playing along. Now, before we wrap up, we'd like to do our green pill moment. What green pill advice would you give to your younger self?
As I was younger, my opinions, my judgments was absolutely dominated by my father. And still, I respect him immensely. And he is an icon of a corporate career. And he's a very successful guy in terms of building a corporate career in an international huge corporation. On the contrary, on the other side, my grandfather was one of those pioneering first Soviet computer engineers. He was a real dreamer. He was responsible for building those huge room-sized machines back in 50s. And he spent like more than 50 years of his life building new computers for the Soviet state before it collapsed, of course. Well, he passed away a few years ago, but still, I have those two people in mind, and they both influenced me heavily. My father, he was always confident about what shall a young man do with his life. Go to good university, be good, work hard, play by the rules, make friends, make career, and you will succeed. My grandfather just loved to create computers, to build computers. And the very first computer I built with my grandfather back in Moscow in the early 90s. He, on the contrary, he always told me, listen to everyone, listen to every opinion you can get, summarize them, but decide with your heart, decide yourself. And to my younger self and to younger generation, I would say that don't let world confuse you and don't be biased by judgments, by opinions. Remember that nothing is really true, nothing really matters, and everything is possible. Everything you see around yourself is built by humans. I know this is a cliche, but it's true. Literally everything, and those humans were no smarter than you were, or no smarter than you may become through effort and time. So just follow your gut, follow your feeling. Remember that the first decision is always right, and follow your dreams, follow your wishes. And don't let anyone influence your judgments and your opinions.
Lovely advice. Very practical, as you said. Rather than follow what other people tell you to do, if you've got a dream, go for it. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't let others tell you to follow the easy road.
Not really the easy road or a hard road. There are many roads. You see, I have three younger brothers. Two of them are 12 and 14 now. And I spoke about this whole overall concept of choosing your path in life with my father. By now, he's 60 years old and I'm grown up, so we can speak plainly. He told me that when I told you what to do, where to study, what to study, and how to build your life, I couldn't have imagined such a thing as a startup. It wasn't just on his mind map that a person can actually go and establish a company to develop new gadgets, new technologies, raise money for that, sell this company or make this company public. He was just not familiar with that this path exists, I would say. And you should remember that people you are speaking to, they may just be unaware of all those concepts and paths you dream about.
Yeah, amazing. And as you say, there are maybe opportunities that no one has even thought about yet. But if we have a dream, if we have a vision, you can make things happen. Roman, where can our listeners connect with you? Where can they follow you and find you online?
Very easy. Choose the social network you prefer, probably LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or Telegram, a very popular messenger, at least within the region. Everywhere you can find me like at Roman Axelrod. Just my name after the at.
Thank you for that. And thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Your story is absolutely inspiring, and I'm so sure our audience will find it so motivating and fascinating. Your advice will undoubtedly resonate with aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators everywhere.
That is so flattering to hear. Thank you.
To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode with Roman, please leave us a 5-star review and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode with us. Stay tuned in for more inspiring conversations with innovative minds like Roman. Until next time, keep dreaming big and chasing your goals.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.